Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dongsheng. Chinese city of Xi'an has been under strict lockdown since December 23rd in its fight to contain the community spread of COVID-19. Shortly after New Year's Day, local authorities claimed victory, but they have faced a public outcry over perceived incompetence and harsh measures, highlighting the immense human cost of China's zero-COVID policy. Over the past 3 weeks, Chinese social media has been flooded with posts from residents who say they have not received food, basic supplies, even medical care. According to a post, one heavily pregnant woman was turned away from a hospital on New Year's Day because she did not have a valid COVID-19 test. The user said she was the pregnant woman's niece. A video posted on January 3rd shows the woman sitting outside with a pool of blood around her feet. She was finally admitted 2 hours later, but suffered a miscarriage. The post was shared widely on Weibo before it was deleted. On Xiaohongshu, China's Instagram-like platform, a user appealed for help on Sunday, January 2nd. Her father suffered a heart attack, but was refused to be admitted in a local hospital. Why? Because they lived in a medium-risk area of the city. The user later updated the post, saying her father was allowed an emergency operation when his situation worsened significantly after several hours. She wrote, "The delay was too long and the rescue failed. I don't have a father anymore." On Wednesday, January 5th, she posted in a more detail on Weibo. Her post went viral, attracting 630,000 likes, and it was shared more than 110,000 times next day. In an interview with the state-run news outlet The Paper, the woman said she was determined to seek answers. She said, I quote, "The guard said he was doing his job. The nurse said she was doing her job. The hospital said it was doing its job. From the perspective of all the epidemic prevention and control requirements, nobody was at fault. So who does the problem lie with?" Unquote. Another video posted online showed a woman in a quarantine hotel on New Year's Day begging a COVID control worker for sanitary pads. In the post, she said she had tried to call multiple government departments to ask for menstrual products. She got none. The video received tens of millions of views before it was removed. The woman later posted that she had received supplies from quarantine workers and said she regret filming the original video. Following the public outcry, Xi'an's officials told a news conference Wednesday, January 5th, that hospitals must not use the excuse of epidemic prevention and control to avoid treating patients, including critical patients like a pregnant woman. On Thursday, Xi'an's authorities said the general manager of Xi'an Gaoxing Hospital has been suspended. Staff involved in the incident had been removed from their posts and ordered the hospital to apologize to the public. On Weibo, the top-rated comment under a state media post about the punishment said, "This just goes to show. COVID-19 might not kill you, but the bureaucrats can." To date, China has only officially reported less than 5,000 COVID-related deaths, compared with more than 800,000 in the United States. The ruling Communist Party has taken pride to that success as proof its authoritarian political model is superior to Western democracies. But the same top-down political system, which tolerates no dissent and demands absolute loyalty, is now under fire. Yang Zhonghuang is a senior fellow for global health at the Council on Foreign Relations. He describes the phenomenon as toxic politics. In order to satisfy the zero COVID policy goal from the top, the local officials often pledge to do whatever it costs to return cases to zero. They will not hesitate to cause great disruption to daily life and even harm those they are supposed to protect. In a way, Xi'an's dysfunction is not an exception, it is a norm. Similar harsh measures were deployed during previous lockdowns in other smaller areas, from cities in the western region of Xinjiang to the southern border town of Ruili. But in Xi'an, such problems took place in a much more extreme form, on a much larger scale, and garnered much wider attention. China's top leaders weighed in too. Sun Chunlan is a Politburo member and a vice premier overseeing China's COVID response. She stressed on Thursday, January 6, that public access to medical service must not be denied under any excuse. In blaming local officials for failing to do their job well, Sun brushed over a deeper root cause that drove Xi'an authorities to such extremes in implementing the lockdown: the tremendous political pressure to achieve the central government's zero COVID goal. Across China, hundreds of local officials have been fired or punished for failing to contain COVID flare-ups in their localities. With the Lunar New Year and the Beijing Winter Olympics fast approaching, such pressure has only intensified. In the meantime, China's political system has become even more top-down. Local governments are required to always toe the line of the central party leadership and carry out its instructions. The room for healthy policy debates and flexibility in implementation has shrunk drastically. Also rapidly shrinking is China's press freedom and civil society, which could have alerted a crisis early on. Even during the initial outbreak in Wuhan, some relatively outspoken state media outlets published hard-hitting reports and successfully drew attention to problems on the ground. But the space for independent reporting and social organization has been further squeezed over the past 2 years. Less than 1 month away from the Beijing Winter Olympics, the stakes are high for Beijing. The quick spread of the Omicron variant could severely complicate virus control scenarios at the Games, which coincide with the Lunar New Year, where millions are expected to travel. Omicron has yet to make significant inroads in China. Officials said the Xi'an lockdown had been caused by the Delta variants, but Omicron had already appeared in China. On January 9th, Tianjin, a major city near Beijing, had begun mass testing of its 14 million residents after a cluster of 20 children and adults tested positive for COVID-19, at least 2 with the Omicron variant. China has stepped up its strict zero-COVID strategy in the run-up to the Olympic in Beijing, which is 115 kilometers northwest of Tianjin. That is only 70 miles. Many people regularly travel back and forth by car or on a high-speed rail link that takes less than 1 hour. The case numbers are small, but Tianjin may be facing China's first outbreak of Omicron of any size. During previous outbreaks, there were voices of criticism against harsh lockdown. They were often met with admonishment to think about the bigger picture, namely the country's zero COVID ambitions. But since the Xi'an lockdown, more dissident voices are surfacing. Zhang Wenming was a former investigative journalist who lives in Xi'an. She publicly questioned the official slogan, "We must do it at all costs." She said, quote, "It may sound all well and good, but when zooming in more specifically on the individual level, as an ordinary person, we might want to ask, are we the we here, or are we the cost that must be paid?" A good and thought-provocative question. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly.